Identifying
The king of cakes. Chopper for the win.
Hey guys, welcome back to CakesByChoppA. Today we have Dave Lwaszewski from Kick-Ass. He's the superhero from the Kick-Ass movies, and subsequently that's his name as well. Okay, so you're going to start off with your cake. This can be any cake. You're going to cut out the shape of the head and then separate the cake. Fill that with a delicious vanilla buttercream. Place it back on the top, and then you're going to carve down the edges to taper down so you get a nice rounded face, because you don't want sharp edges on this. Then give it a crumb coat with the buttercream. Make sure it goes all the way around, nice and neat. And then you're going to build up the face a little bit and give it a little bit of character with the nose and the brow. You can pop that in the fridge and start cutting out your eyepiece. Now this is just a flesh coloured fondant that I've rolled out and then used the template to give it some indents and definition to the nose and the eyes. This is not a necessity, you can just leave it flat, but just make sure you've got the white cut out nice and thin. But I placed mine inside the eyes to give it that real 3D look, and then just painted in the pupils and the rest of the eye with the food dye. Now, I found it easier to start with the green and then build the layers up with the dark outline, then to put in the pupil and the details of the eye. And then I just used the black and brown food colouring to paint in his eyebrows and the eyelashes to give it that really mean look. And then you can dilute the brown and the black to give him some shadowing around the nose and the creases in his face. If you can draw, paint or do makeup, then you'll find this really easy. And I do apologize for the focus being off with this video. I almost wasn't going to post it because I had a few minor technical difficulties. You'll see up here it actually dropped a whole section, so I was a little bit disheartened by that, but I really wanted to show you guys this video because I was very proud of how the cake turned out. Once you're finished painting in all the details and you're happy with it, you can move that aside and let it start to dry. I didn't fix up the edges, I just left it all rough because you'll see I'm going to place it on the cake and then cover it with the green fondant and then trim off the edge so it'll neaten it up. Move on to your mouthpiece, which you're going to use for the template. Cut out the size, use your impression tool to give the lips a bit of definition, then paint on the colours. And this is where I added a hacked in piece to his eyebrow and his mouth, and then some red food dye to make it look like blood. And then we're ready to place it on your cake. Unfortunately this didn't film, so this is how you would place it, and then cover it with the green fondant, smoothing it down. Now for the mouthpiece and the eyes, I placed a little bit of plastic over them for when I was covering the fondant because I didn't want it to smudge it. If you leave it dry overnight, then you won't need the plastic, but of course I did this in the one sitting, so that's why I placed the plastic there. Trim off the green fondant, tucking it all in underneath. Now I used a green petal dust to give it some shadowing, and it was very messy. Now this is another optional trick. I used a damp cloth to place over it and give it a material sort of impression on the fondant. You just want to make sure it's not a hairy cloth, something that's going to leave little hairs behind. And then you're going to use some yellow trimmings to do the lines in his costume, placing a little bit of water down where you want these to go, and cut out the thin strips and trace it along, using your picture of Kick-Ass to guide you and see where you'd need it. But there's 4 along the top that go right down to his eyes, 1 across the bottom, 1 across his brow, and then a square between his top lip and his nose. Well, I should say it's more of a rectangle, but you get what I mean. I also lined the cake with a yellow because I wasn't quite happy with how I finished it off at the bottom. Here's the rectangle between the mouth and the nose I was talking about. Now that's done, you've got your Kick-Ass cake. Thanks for watching guys, much appreciated. If you like this video, please share it on Facebook or Twitter. I'm going to share this with my friends at VidInk this weekend. If you're going to VidInk too, I hope to see you there. Come say hi. And in the meantime, check out some of my other cakes. Thanks for watching guys, love you guts.